This conference will now be recorded.
Brian, you want to read the roll?
Sure. Steve Wolfel, representing Secretary and CEO Jamie Tesler.
Here.
Arthur Frost, Mass DOT Highway.
I'm here representing Mass DOT Highway Administrator Jonathan Gulliver.
Trevor Beauregard, Gardner.
Here.
I see Trevor there. Guy Corvacero, MRPC Chair.
Here.
George Kahali, Mart.
Here.
Barbara Anderson, Subregion 1. I don't see Barbara. She is registered, so I'll keep an eye out for her. Rosemary Meissner, Subregion 2.
Here.
And Tim Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Here.
Okay, that's all I have who registered.
All right. Do we want to go around and for others on the call right now before we get into our things?
I'll start. Brad Harris, MRPC staff.
Excellent. Chris, you want to go?
Oh. Yeah. Oh, sorry, George, need to cut you off. Chris Clem, Mass at OTP. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late, everyone.
Daryl Emerald, District 2, Projects, Planning.
Bonnie Mahoney, Mart.
Ann Sullivan, MassDOT District 3.
Original MRPC.
Sherry Bean, MRPC.
Brian Doherty, MRPC. I'll also mention that I see Tom Skorowski from Fitchburg, who's also a signatory who I called during roll call. So I'll include you too as well, Tom.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Is that everyone?
It looks like it.
All right. Let's move on to the next agenda item, which is public comment. Are there any members of the public would like to address the MPO today? All right. Seeing none.
Do you mind if I take a quick moment?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I've worked with this whole group for a long time. I am facing retirement, maybe not quite as quickly as I had thought, but I am retiring soon. And it's just been a pleasure working with a group for so many years. And when I am Ann Sullivan, who is also attending the meeting, will be taking my spot representing the highway administrator probably for the next MPO meeting. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and I've really enjoyed it and going to miss working with the whole group. So thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. And obviously, we all share the same sentiments for working with you. So,
Can I just say something?
Sure.
On behalf of the MRPC, I want to thank Arthur for all the work he's done for our region and for Mass DOT. It's been a pleasure working with him and his staff. They've always been quick with responses and having the information we ask. So we'll miss Arthur, but I'm sure Ann will take over and do a wonderful job. But I just want to thank Arthur for all his work from all of us here at the MRPC.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. I think we had no one with public comments other than what we just did for the honoring Arthur. So let's move on to the next agenda item, which is agenda item 3, approval of the April 20th, 2022 minutes. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Arthur, you want to second them?
Sure, I'll second it.
All right. Any changes or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, Brian, can you read the roll?
Steve Wolfel, Mass DOT.
Yes.
Arthur Frost, Mass DOT Highway.
Yes.
Tom Skorowski, Fitchburg.
Yes.
Trevor Beauregard, Gardner.
Yes.
Guy Corvacero, MRPC.
Yes.
George Kahali, Mart.
Yes.
Barbara Anderson, Subregion 1. Rosemary Meisner, Subregion 2.
I'll abstain.
Tim Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Yes.
Okay, we have one abstention and one, I don't believe Barbara is at the meeting right now, but we still have enough to pass.
Okay. All right, we're on to the next agenda item, which is agenda 4, which is an update on the statewide long-range transportation plan we're just doing. I assume this is you, Chris, so you want to take it away?
Yeah, this is me. Thanks, Steve. Brian, I think we shared the presentation with you beforehand. Unless I'm mistaken.
Yes, let me just, I have to reshare the application. Would you like me to give you control or I can go through the slides if you'd like?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind going through the slides. Sorry, I got my notes pulled up on my screen.
Sure.
Thank
Just
you.
give me a minute to share my screen in a different way here.
No problem. All right. Thanks, Brian. All right. Good morning, everyone. Oh, good afternoon. Excuse me. It's been a long day so far. Chris Clem. I'm from MassDOT's Office of Transportation Planning, and I'm going to provide a quick overview of MassDOT's next statewide long-range transportation plan entitled Beyond Mobility. Next slide, please, Brian. So the purpose of the long-range plan is to articulate a vision statement that will help guide the future of transportation in Massachusetts, serve as a strategic plan for MassDOT, and guide future capital planning here at the agency. The last statewide long-range transportation plan, called We Move Massachusetts, came out in 2014, and that plan helped to define the structure of MassDOT's current capital investment plan. So this plan will help set the stage for the next revamp of the capital planning process through an extensive public engagement and strategic planning process. Next slide, please. So this slide summarizes the tasks within the scope of work for the long-range plan, and we've categorized this work into 4 overarching phases. First is the assessment phase, and this will involve tasks such as an existing conditions analysis, so analyzing the most pressing trends facing Massachusetts through scenario planning and defining the network for a site-specific needs analysis. Next is the visioning phase. This phase will involve extensive public and stakeholder engagement and will entail crafting a vision based on input from the public and from stakeholders. Third is the evaluation phase. This will also involve public engagement, but will be based more on assessing public input on a variety of trade-offs. So for example, when it comes to allocating limited resources for transportation, which projects are the greatest priority and why? And questions like this will be assessed in this stage of the plan. And the final stage will involve recommendations based on this input and other analyses. And recommendations may be related to restructuring the capital planning framework, related to organizational recommendations, policy related, or location-specific recommendations. Next slide, please, Brian. So we are currently in the visioning phase for the long-range planning process to define how Massachusetts residents envision the transportation system that will best serve them in the future, and what the most pressing needs and barriers are to seeing this vision. So far, we have completed multilingual focus groups And we have launched a website and public survey to begin gathering input. And we plan to host additional stakeholder meetings throughout the summer of 2022. Next slide, please, Brian. This final slide provides some background on how we want to get folks involved in the public engagement process. So we've already shared this presentation with MRPC, and we are hoping that folks on the call today can use this information on the slide to share with your communities, your network, friends, and colleagues. We're really trying to get as much feedback and participation in the survey as possible to reach people of all walks of life and all geographies. And on this slide, there is a link to a video as well as the planned website. And on the right side of the screen, there are QR codes that link to the public survey and website as well. So that's all we have for today. Please help us spread the word. And I'm happy to help answer any questions that anyone may have.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Chris? And he said we're really kind of early in the process, so please, it's going to be a long process with a lot of public outreach, as Chris said, so please try to engage as we go through this. So, all right, Chris, I think we're good.
Okay, actually, Steve, if I could add one more thing. The survey is open until June 30th, so members have about 6 more weeks to respond to that survey. You can also sign up on the website for email notifications. So as the website's updated, as more plans are released, you'll get an email notification, so you can kind of stay in tune with everything that's updated. That's all I got. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Chris. All right. If there's no questions, which I don't see any, why don't we move to the next agenda item, which I believe, Brian, you want to bring the agenda back up? It is agenda item 5, which is the Montachusett Federal Fiscal Year 2022 to 2026 tip work, which I believe George Snow is going to handle today.
That is correct.
All right. Go ahead, George.
Okay, FFY 22 proposed tip amendment number 4 involves 2 projects on the highway element and 9 projects on the transit element. The first highway project is number 610-672 on Elm Street in Gardner for resurfacing and sidewalk improvements and is funded through Safe Routes to School. The project has experienced delays, and due to the delays, this project needs to be moved from FFY 22 to FFY 23. The second project is number 610-730 on Route 2 in Westminster and Fitchburg for pavement preservation and related work. This project should be removed from FFY 24 because it was advertised in December of 2021 with non-federal aid funds. Neither project affects the target totals or addresses fiscal constraint issues. The Transit Authority provided changes to the transit element. The changes include removing 3 projects which are highlighted in red. Do you have that, Brian? 3 projects highlighted in red, and cost changes to 6 projects which are highlighted in yellow. No new projects are being added, and there is no impact on the transit budget. At the MPO meeting held on April 20th, the MPO reviewed the proposed amendment and voted that it be released for a 21-day public review and comment period, which commenced on Tuesday, April 26th, and closed at the end of business on Monday, May 16th. At the MJTC meeting held on May 11th, the MJT passed a recommendation to the MPO to endorse the amendment. As of May 16th, we have received no comments on this amendment. And today we are looking for the MPO to endorse proposed tip amendment number 4.
All right, thanks, George. Can I get a motion and a second to endorse tip amendment 4, then I can open up for questions?
I move we endorse the amendment Guy Corbisero.
And I second it.
All right, any questions for George?
I have a comment, Steve.
Go ahead, Chris.
So project number 2, that project ID isn't 609529. It's actually 610730.
Okay, so Guy and George, are you guys comfortable amending your motion a second to include that one small change to the project ID?
I am fine, Mrs. Guy.
Oh yes, I'm fine with it too.
Yes.
And George Kahali, you are. Okay. All right. Thanks, Chris, for that. Are there any other questions or comments? All right, Brian, can you read the roll with that small little error, fix?
Steve Wolfo, representing Secretary Tesler.
Yes.
Arthur Frost, representing the Highway Division.
Yes.
Tom Skorowski, Fitchburg.
Yes.
Trevor Beauregard, Gardner.
Yes.
Guy Corpusero, MRPC.
Yes.
George Kahali, Mart.
Yes.
Rosemary Mesner, Subregion 2.
Yes.
And Tim Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Yes.
All right. With that, so tip amendment 4 passes. Thank you. So, George Snow, I think we have a proposed tip amendment 5, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, George.
FFY 22 proposed tip amendment number 5 involves project number 609314, intersection improvements at Greenville Road and Turnpike Road in Ashby. This project is listed under Section 2B and therefore does not affect region target totals or address physical constraint issues. The project is at 100% design with an expected advertisement date of July 30th. Our overall project cost has increased, which is the reason for this amendment. Project cost has increased approximately $720,000 from approximately 2.5 mil to approximately 3.2 mil. There are three major reasons for the cost increase. Number one, some of the earthwork quantities were moved from earth excavation to unclassified excavation, which has a higher unit price than the former earthwork. Number two, drainage costs increased as a result of installing catch basins with deeper sumps than the ones initially proposed. And number three, all unit costs were updated to reflect current upward price trends. Today, we are looking for a vote from the MPO to release proposed tip amendment number 5 for a 21-day public review and comment period to commence on Monday, May 23rd and close at the end of business on Wednesday, June 13th.
All right. Can I get a motion second to release tip amendment 5 out for public review?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Who is that?
Tom.
I'm sorry. I'm Arthur Frost too. Sorry for not identifying myself.
And Tim was number 2, right? Is that the second?
Tom from Pittsburgh was not the second.
All right. You have it, right? Okay. So are there any questions or comments on tip amendment 5?
The only comment I have, Steve, is the ad date was recently changed to 8/27/22.
All right. So,
Just as a note, it doesn't impact the project.
well, since we know that now, Arthur, why don't you made the motion, Tim? Can we just amend the motion a second to include the updated advertisement date? Are you both fine with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Arthur, you fine? Yep.
Yep.
All right. Any other comments? All right. With the one change on ad date, Brian, can you read the roll, Senate for public review?
Steve Wolfo, representing Secretary Tesler.
Yes.
Arthur Frost, Highway.
Yes.
Tom Skorowski, Fitchburg.
Yes.
Trevor Beauregard, Gardner.
Yes.
Guy Corpusero, MRPC.
Yes.
George Kahali, Mart.
Yes.
Rosemary Meisner, Subregion 2.
Yes.
And Tim Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Yes.
All right. With that, we are done with 2022 to 2026 tip items and under agenda item 5. So now I think it's time to move to agenda item 6, was the federal fiscal year 2023 Unified Planning Work Program. Sherry, take it away.
Okay, sorry. So for the UPWP We had our comment period, which ended on the 16th, so 2 days ago. We had received 2 separate comments, one from MassDOT and one from Federal Highway. And I know there was a table that was sent out with the summary of those comments. Brian, do you have that?
Sorry, Sherry.
It's okay.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So just to, the comments were very straightforward. And I just want to say, I really have enjoyed how MassDOT has provided comments for this document over the last, I think this is the 2nd year that you've done this sort of table with the categories of completeness, narrative, and tasks. It's really super useful and easy to navigate. So thank you for that. And Chris did a great job on this one too. So just to give it an overall idea of what the comments included. So for completeness, there was a link to our Mr. Mapper site where the link was broken. So that will be fixed. The social equity distribution map was pixelated, and then there was also a geographic equity map, which was missing a legend. So those will be updated. For the MPO member list, apparently on our website, it was from 2017. The same day we got the comments, we uploaded the newest member list. So that is now updated on our site. And then the include a little bit more information. I think I'm jumping ahead. So still under completeness, I forgot to mention the table of contents. So I'm unsure because we did have an acronym list and it was listed in our table of contents, but after looking at it, we still could see that it needed to be updated. So we have updated that. And then under narrative, a little bit more information was requested for our MOUs, which is our memorandums of understanding. And then under our task specific things, we had for task 2.5, they were looking for more information on performance-based planning. And then also we were missing some congestion mitigation planning efforts. Whether or not we include it in an existing task or create an additional task was kind of left up to us. So we will be addressing that. So under Federal Highway, there was some comments about accessibility. So we do need to double check the document for accessibility and incorporate the areas that might be missing. In particular, pictures, tables, graphs, things like that need to make sure that they have a description behind them. On page 47, they wanted us to check a budget table, and I believe that related to the transit table. Page 66, they were looking to see if similar efforts for performance measures were being used for the next RGP, which is currently under development. We have started that process, and it will go into our next fiscal year. So other than that, the comments were pretty straightforward, and we will have the final document ready to go. So I think we're just looking for a vote to approve the final document based on the comments received and the changes that were made.
All right. So can I get a motion a second to endorse the UPWP for federal fiscal year 2023 with the comments and edits that Sherry just detailed?
So move to endorse Guy Corbicero.
Second, Tim Kilhart, Harvard.
Are there any questions for Sherry? All right, seeing none. Brian, you want to read the roll, please?
Steve Wolfel, representing Secretary Tesler.
Yes.
Arthur Frost, Mass DOT Highway Division.
Yes.
Tom Skorowski, Fitchburg.
Yes.
Trevor Beauregard, Gardner.
Yes.
Guy Corvacero, MRPC.
Yes.
George Kahali, Mart.
Yes.
Rosemary Meissner, Subregion 2.
Yes.
Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Yes.
All right. So good job, Sherry, in this year's UPWP, or I mean, next year's, I guess is a better way to say it.
Thank you.
So let's move on to the next agenda item, which is agenda item 7, which is the Montachusett Federal Fiscal Year 2023 to 27 tip. And Brian, you're handling this, right?
Yes.
All right, go take it away.
So just like the UPWP, the tip was out for public comment. The period ended Monday. We got 2 sets of comments, the same from the same agencies as commented on UPWP. Those comments are up on the screen. I'll briefly go over them. Both sets of comments were relatively minor. For example, on the first set, which was a joint comment filed by both Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit Administration. On page 13, we referenced Secretary Tesler as acting Secretary Tesler, so they suggested moving acting since he's no longer just acting, he's the actual secretary. So that's a minor edit that we made in the final document. Same with page 42. It suggested including some readable text versions of some tables that we have, which we've done in the update. Page 54, they suggest adding some additional information on the bipartisan infrastructure law, which we'll do, or we have done in the final document. Moving on, there's some tables on pages 69 through 74, which we've updated with some additional information and made less confusing. So those updates are included. And finally, on page 133, they point out another minor edit having to do with an acronym that we used in the table, which we corrected. The second set of comments was from Mass DOT, Office of Transportation Planning. And they're just like the UPWP comments, kind of grouped into different categories. The first is the completeness categories. These are all minor edits that were made in the final document, so we made those changes. Under narrative, they suggest including additional information on the bill, just like Federal Highway and FTA did. We made those additions. And finally, under project listing, they suggest adding additional information on some of the projects in the target section, which we have done the final product. So we reviewed these comments with the JTC in last week's meeting, and the group has recommended to the MPO that what's the final 23 through 27 tip, and that's ultimately what we're looking for today. Additionally, if it is endorsed by this group, there are 2 additional certifications which need to be endorsed as well. That is the final document. These comments will be incorporated in the appendix, and we're looking for an endorsement.
All right. So, hey, Brian, do we want to do the full tip first, and then we'll do each of the certifications separately? Is that how we're going to handle it? Okay.
Sure, yep.
All right. So can I get a motion to approve the federal fiscal year 2023 to 2027 tip as amended with public comment as Brian just detailed?
So moved, Guy Corbisiero.
I
Second,
second
Tim
it.
Gilhart.
All right. The second was Tim. All right. Are there any questions or comments anyone has for Brian? All right. Seeing none, Brian, you want to read the roll?
Steve Wolfo, Mass DOT.
Yes.
Arthur Frost, Mass DOT Highway.
Yes.
Tom Skorowski, Fitchburg.
Yes.
Trevor Beauregard, Gardner.
Yes.
Guy Corbisiero, MRPC.
Yes.
George Kahali, Mark.
Yes.
Rosemary Meissner, Subregion 2.
Yes.
Tim Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let's do, which of the first do we have up first of the certifications, Brian?
So the first of the 2 certifications, both certifications have to do with the in regards to the tip process that we underwent in the document itself. The first is certification of the Montachusett Region MPO 3C transportation planning process, and I can read what is in this certification.
Sure, go ahead, Brian.
This certifies that concurrent with the submittal of the proposed tip to the Federal Highway Administration and the Federal Transit Administration, the Montachusett Regional Metropolitan Planning Organization certifies that its conduct with the Metropolitan Transportation Planning process complies with all applicable requirements, which are listed below, and that this process includes activities to support the development and implementation of the long-range transportation plan and air quality conformity determination, the transportation improvement program and air quality conformity determination, and the unified planning work program.
Okay, so why don't you do the next one, Brian, then we'll do a motion a second on the two of them combined.
Okay, and the second certification is in regards to the Global Warming Solutions Act requirements, and I'll read the description as well. This will certify that the federal fiscal year 2023 through 2027 Transportation Improvement Program and air quality conformity determination for the 2020 through 2040 long-range transportation plan for the Montachusett Metropolitan Planning Organization is in compliance with all applicable requirements in the state regulation, Global Warming Solutions Act requirements for the transportation sector, and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation.
Okay, so can I get a motion to move the two certification documents here related to the tip? So we
So
can endorse.
moved. Guy Corbacero.
Thank you, Guy. Who's the second?
Second, Arthur Frost.
All right, any questions on these? All right, seeing none. Brian, you want to read the roll?
Steve Wolfel, Mass DOT.
Yes.
Arthur Frost, Mass DOT Highway.
Yes.
Tom Skowarski, Fitchburg.
Yes.
Trevor Burgard, Gardner.
Yes.
Guy Corbacero, MRPC.
Yes.
George Kahali, Mart.
Yes.
Rosemary Meissner, Subregion 2.
Yes.
Tim Kilhart, Subregion 3.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Brian. Good job on the tip for next fiscal year. We'll move on to agenda item 8, which are updates. The first update is the Highway Division. I don't know who wants to go first. You want to go first? Arthur, are you going to do it or is Ann going to do it?
I don't know whether Ann, I know she had another meeting.
All right, why don't you do it, Arthur?
Okay, and I don't have a whole lot new. I did make that one comment on there, but for FY22, we know that Lancaster 117, let's see, 608779, we know that was advertised in March. That's Lancaster 117 and 170. Hubbardston, Route 68, 608793. That is at the PSNE level, and that's due to be advertised on June 4th. We have Fitchburg, Bridge Preservation, Circle Street over the North Nashua River, 605296. And that's at 100% design. That's due to be advertised August 27th. Then we have Gardner, Westminster Preservation and related work on Route 2, 610729. And that's at 100% design. That's due to be advertised the 18th of June. We have Ashby, Greenville Road and Turnpike Road. This is one that we just amended, 609314, and that advertisement date is August 27th. Then we have Leominster Viscoid Avenue, 609529. This is Safe Routes to School. Again, that's at 100% design, and that's due to be advertised June 25th. Gardner Elm Street, we know that was moved off. This is 610672. This is another Safe Routes to School, and this was moved off because there was we had to clarify things on that. That'll move into 2023, and just because of the change of the use of the school, we had to stop and re-examine that one. Then the last one is 610730. It's Westminster Fitchburg Route 2, and that was advertised with non-federal aid funds back in December. So that's what I have for updates for you.
Thank you, Arthur. Anyone have any questions for Arthur about these or other projects? All right, Daryl, do you have anything?
Yes, I have a couple projects here for in FY22. We have the project 608850, Petersham Bridge Replacement, Glen Valley Road over East Branch of Swift River. Design is at PS&E. Environmental's been cleared. Right-of-way cert was issued on April 27th, and the current add date is June 11th this year. Next project is FY23 project, project 608784. A Templeton Roundabout construction at the intersection of Patriots Road, South Main Street, North Main Street, and Gardner Road. Roadway design is at 100%. 100% was just submitted today. It's under review and comments are due on June 17th. Current add date is January 14th, 23. And then the next project we can mention is project 609107. Proposed for 23. That's the Phillipston Templeton pavement preservation and related work on Route 2. Design is at PS&E. Final PS&E is due June 1st, and the current add date is January 7th, 2023. That's all I have for today.
All right, anyone have any questions for Daryl? All right, thank you, Daryl. The next update is from Transit. George or Bonnie, do you guys have anything?
Yes. As I mentioned last month, the Board of Selectmen for the town of Phillipston have voted to petition joining the Montachusett Regional Transit Authority. And yesterday, at the MART Advisory Board meeting, the board voted to accept the town of Phillipston as a new member to the MART communities. By adding the town of Phillipston, MART will have 24 member communities now. This happened yesterday. And also, MART will be doing a major rehab work this summer at Fitchburg ITC, and there will be a changing the roof of the station there, the Fitchburg ITC, and will be some impact on the rider using the ITC facility. This is what I have. Any question?
So George, it's not just the roof, it's also the concourse area, the
Yes.
passenger waiting area. That area is, we're taking out windows, replacing new windows, possibly putting up like a half wall. So we're going to try to time it out so that the concourse area roof and rehab is not being done at the same time as the south pod. So the passengers will always have an indoor area to wait in, but there will be some shifting when we get closer to actual construction, because we have to wait for materials to come in. So it might still be a while. Construction might not actually begin till the fall because of delays in obtaining materials. So I just wanted to add that further comment.
All right, anyone have any questions? I'm sure we'll be hearing more of this from you, George and Bonnie, over the coming months. So anyone have any questions today? All right, thank you both. Next update is on the JTC. Brad.
Thank you. Just a couple items. The JTC met last week on May 11th. Again, main topic was reviewing the TIP and UPWP, as we've discussed. We also began the election process by putting together a nominating committee. They will present a slate for chair, vice chair, and secretary at the start of the June meeting, and then elections will take place in July. The date for the next MJTC meeting is Wednesday, June 8th at 2:30 p.m. Staff attended a public announcement at the Circle Street Bridge in Fitchburg on Monday that was hosted by the Mayor of Fitchburg, Steve DiNatale, and U.S. Congresswoman Lori Trahan. The purpose was to focus on the new bipartisan infrastructure law and the additional funds that are being put towards infrastructure projects, not only in Massachusetts, but across the country. And so they were highlighting two projects that will be funded in the near future, or will be going out to construction in the near future. The first is the Circle Street Bridge, where we've met, and the second is the Water Street Bridge in Fitchburg also, which is going to be a major project of $13 to $15 million along those lines. And that's scheduled, I think, for 2024. There is a handout available that's on it's also on our website. It's announcing the upcoming public comment release for the FY 2023 to 2027 Massachusetts Capital Investment Plan. Virtual public meetings will be held between May 24th to June 2nd. The Central Mass meeting, which includes Montachusett, is set for May 26th at 6 p.m. Individuals are invited to attend any of the meetings they feel meets their needs, but the Central Mass meeting will have more information related to our region and Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, so focus on some projects there. Each event will highlight investments in specific the regions and specific projects and formulas. We just received email today telling us that the comment period has been approved to go out to begin. This information is also posted on our website with working links so that you can register for a meeting or just go to the Mass DOT website and take a look at the capital investment plan. And again, they're accepting public comments on this, and through our website too, you can also make comments to MassDOT. And then finally, last month we discussed a new federally funded program titled Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A is its acronym. At that time, there were a set of pre-application webinars planned. We've been notified since that time, actually in the last week or so, that the 2022 Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO, for this program has been released. The NOFO highlights applications process and what type of projects can be funded. So we'll be taking a closer look at that in the very near future. Information on this program can be found at the website transportation.gov/SS4A. Applications are going to be due by September 15th of 2022. At that same website, the transportation.gov/SS4A, there are links for recordings from those webinars that provide some basic information on the program. And as I said, we will be looking at it closely too to see what we can do and what we may be able to apply for. And if any communities have comments or questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll see if we can answer them and maybe put something together for our region to try and fund through this program. That is quickly all that I have right now at this time.
Any questions for Brad? Nope. So the next update is from the RPC. Guy, you got anything?
No, I do not have anything this month. No updates unless staff has any comments they want to make. Not hearing it.
The only comment I have, Guy, is that in the near future, within the next couple of weeks or so, we'll be talking about staff getting back into the office on a more regular basis. It'll be upcoming.
Great, thank you, Brad.
All right, thank you, Guy. Thank you, Brad. I have one real quick update. Innovation conferences next week. In-person registration is completely sold out, but you still can register virtually. You might have seen, if you've gone to our events in the past, the Lieutenant Governor will be there on the 24th. So I just urge you, if you're going to participate, make sure you sign up for the virtual. All right, next agenda item is administrative matters. Next MPO meeting, Brad or Brian?
Wednesday, June 15th at 1 p.m.
All right. So we'll see people back then. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn, please?
So moved, Guy Corbacero.
Second, Arthur Frost.
All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 No abstentions. All right. Thank you, everybody. I may see some of you next week, hopefully, at the Innovation Conference. Otherwise, stay safe. Enjoy your Memorial Day, and we'll see you in June. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.